everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we're here to recap the Tampa Bay Buccaneers throttling of the Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay 46, Carolina 23. This was certainly the ugliest game in the Matt Rule era and one of the ugliest Panthers games I've seen in a long time.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just getting worse. It's getting worse and worse. That defense, it got better after the first couple games, and lately, it's just getting worse. This is honestly one of the worst defenses I've seen ever. Honestly, historically, it's on pace to be one of the top 2 or 3 third down teams of all time in the NFL. Right now, they're giving up 54%. That was before this game. And that would place them third ever in the league. And this year, they gave up 61%. And they're not stopping them until they're getting in field goal range. This is another game with no punt. No, yeah. I'm done. I am done picking this team to win until they can force more than one punt late in the fourth quarter when the other team already basically has a win.
Yeah. We've talked about the bend, don't break defense, and, it didn't really work today. It worked in the first half, I guess, for the most part a bit, but it sucks. It's not fun to watch. It can't be fun to play. If you're a Panther player,
is your goal to pin, not break every game? Let's get them into their 30-yard line.
So far, that seems to be the plan. And the Panthers have now lost 5 in a row. So, but let's start off with our 3 key plays to the game.
3 key plays to the game is brought to you by Manscaped. Save your balls. Use promo code MeowMixPodcast to receive 20% off and free shipping on your next order. That's manscaped.com, promo code MeowMixPodcast.
Jerry, why don't you kick it off with the first play?
Well, Charlton had a beautiful punt, pinned him down on the 2-yard line, and then right away, first down, Jones, 98 yards to the house. We were only down by 3. I thought, hey, maybe we could pin them back, maybe get a punt, or more likely a safety there. Our defense was stopping the run pretty good at that point. 98 yards, touchdown. Just killed us.
And it was like as soon as he was past the initial defensive line, there was nobody there. There was nobody there to stop him.
Jeremy Chin did his best, but by the time he caught up to him, it was 20 or 15 yard, and he kind of just dove at his feet and missed. And
yeah, it looked like Jones was looking up at the scoreboard, saw him coming, to put on a little burst that got him out of the way. But yeah, I mean, and Chin certainly wasn't in position initially to stop the play. Once he got past the first line, he was gone. And I don't know, the Panthers, this has happened to them, especially against the Bucs several times now, where there's just big run plays that kill them, that just kind of put the game away. And even though this was early in the second half, it pretty much put the game away. It was all downhill from there.
Yeah. Now, moving on to our next play, if that play didn't do it, we get the ball back, down 10 now, Teddy Bridgewater, interception. There we go. Right, right in our area. They're at least going to get a field goal no matter what on this. I mean, just
a guy with 7 fingers picked off Teddy. Just dropped right back into coverage, and I don't know if Teddy didn't see him or he had a little bit of pressure, but it was about as ugly an interception as you'll see.
I don't know. And the third, if you want to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, by this point, the game was pretty much over, but we're going to go with the subsequent Panthers drive. It was 4th and 5 around the 40-yard line or so. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the stadium, everybody at home, everybody anywhere knew that the Panthers were going to try a fake punt. They did one last week. They've done 2 others this year, and the Bucs also knew that they were going to try a fake punt. They did it. I don't know if this was a designed draw like the announcers seem to think that it was, or just no one was open to throw the ball, or Charlton thought that he had a lane, but he didn't. and he was basically sacked essentially 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And if those two previous key plays didn't end the game, this one did.
Yeah, just pathetic.
Total momentum sucker. If you're going to go for it on fourth down, just go for it with your best players. I mean, if you're going to try the surprise punt, which, hey, I love the fake punt, right? But you can't do it every single week because eventually they're going to figure it out.
Well, you know why they're going for fake punts every single week? Because the defense won't stop them at all. It's just, let's be honest, they have to score. The offense has to score every time they have the ball.
Just keep your offense on the field if that's the case. You know, a fake punt like once a season, twice a season is surprising and, you know, can occasionally work. But if this is the fourth time now this season that they've tried it, and even though it has worked a few times before, it ain't going to work anymore. I don't think.
Especially not on this game, not where you were sitting at. If it was a little bit different timing, you give it a little time to simmer, and then they're still kind of watching it, but, you know, let it off.
Earlier in the game, another punt that Charlton did, and by the way, Charlton, great punting game.
Yeah.
The Bucs were calling fake, and it wasn't a fake that time. But at that point, Rule has to know this is in their head. They are expecting a fake at some point in this game. Don't do it. Just go for it on fourth down or actually punt it. But we couldn't stop them on defense at all. So if you're going to punt it, then you're essentially giving up at least 3 points.
I mean, they gave up 46 points today. Don't get me wrong. The Bucs have a lot of talent on them, but you could stop them. The Saints did. Saints don't have a miraculous great defense out there. They couldn't even slow him down. I mean, that first half, it was tied 17-17. And then they just, I don't know. So frustrating. Russell Douglas got beat up out there. Troy Pride Jr. got destroyed out there, which that's...
Everybody looked terrible out there on defense. Even Jeremy Chin, I think, had his worst game.
I did too. I mean, he couldn't keep up with Cameron Brate and Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
I
mean, I will say that a couple, and, you know, we might as well just go ahead and get into it. I'm not even going to worry about a break. The first couple of touchdown throws from Brady were very good throws, and I thought the coverage was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That one to Evans, I mean, Rasul Douglas was right there. His arm gone an inch the other way. I think he'd have punched the ball out. And then Chin was all over Brate. It was just a great throw. I mean, Brady just hit Brate exactly where he had to. And that little play design was really nice. It sort of picked Chin a little bit, enough to get Brate a little bit of space, and that's all she wrote. But yeah, like you said, the first half in this game really went the Panthers' way. It was 17-17, and we were all feeling pretty good at halftime, but the third quarter, as it has in many games this year, just killed the Panthers.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about the third quarter in this team. Even on offense, they go 3 and out. They seem to lose it. Honestly, I've noticed it's always the second and third quarter. It's not even just the third quarter. It seems like the first quarter and even sometimes a little bit of the beginning of the second quarter, then they just fall flat until it's like fourth quarter, time to do or die. They kind of lull down. If you look in past games, it's happened too.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the team starts fast and just fades, which, you know, is something we've seen from Panthers in years past. And I don't know if this is just growing pains from the team. I'm assuming that it is, but it's tough to watch. It's not any fun for the fans to see this week in and week out, now 5 weeks in a row.
Well, my big thing is
it's the same problems.
I'm not seeing any growth from the defense. I was expecting this.
The defense especially. No, the defense is getting worse, like you said.
I have no qualms about the offense. First of all, they weren't on the field hardly at all this game. Teddy Bridgewater threw 18 for 24, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, that bad interception. But for the most part, he just didn't get on the field, and then he got injured. I mean, Mike Davis, 7 for 32. And honestly, that's awesome because that run defense, they're stout. I had no problem with us not running the ball in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the game really got out of hand pretty quickly in the second half, and they just
Mhm.
abandoned the run, which you kind of have to do at that point. Um, but be glad when McCaffrey comes back, because I think we saw last week what the offense looks like with him. It's just a different offense. Bridgewater did get hurt in this game towards the end. We're hoping that he's okay. Obviously, the good news is that it's a knee injury, but it is a different knee from the one that he hurt several years ago with the Vikings. That obviously, you don't want him to hurt that knee again. But it is the other knee that he's going for an MRI tonight, actually. And initial reports are that it's not serious, so he could be out there next week. PJ Walker didn't look very good in limited action.
No.
I God, is Will Grier just that bad where he's not even getting a shot to back up?
It could also be the fact that Matt Rule just trusts PJ Walker because he knew him and he coached him in Temple. So he's just going to go with more familiarity.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I wouldn't, if Bridgewater does have to miss some time. I don't know that the Panthers are going to be very effective with PJ Walker.
Yeah,
on the
I
field.
don't either. And honestly, I think Will Grier would fit this scheme a little bit better than what he fit last year's scheme.
I agree. I don't see why they wouldn't give him a shot. I understand PJ maybe has a similar skill set to Teddy in terms of being able to run the ball a bit. But I would like to see the Panthers see what they have in Will Grier, especially if Teddy has to miss some time. Why not?
Well, at that point, I mean, these coaches see him every day. Not every day, but every practice. I mean, if he's not showing it there, I mean, if PJ Walker's outperforming him at practice, why should he start over him if Teddy's out?
I guess. I mean, or it's like you say, it's just Rule is more familiar with PJ and he just wants to give him the opportunity, which maybe that's his prerogative. He's the head coach. We did see that DJ Moore looked a little more involved in this game, certainly more involved than he was in last week's game where he had 2 catches. He had 4 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown, had a nice big catch in the first half. And then he had another catch. Was that in the second quarter or was that in the third quarter?
That was second quarter. We are going to try to go for a field goal to go up 20-17. Yeah. Unfortunately, he kind of bobbled it and they called it incomplete. Yeah, I guess it was incomplete. I mean,
yeah,
it was close.
I'm surprised that they reversed it considering they call it a catch on the field because to me, it doesn't look exactly conclusive. But again, if we were the Bucs fans, we'd probably say no catch, no catch, no way.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, we're giving them the benefit of the doubt.
But the biggest issue there is the team should have gone down there and spiked the ball anyways. Instead, they were trying to line up to make another play. I don't know why DJ Moore didn't say, hey, might be questionable. And then you do the Aaron Rodgers thing where they just run a quick play. And at that point, spiking the ball was perfectly understandable anyways. Then you could line back up and make another shot at the end zone.
Almost the worst thing that happened to them was that flag being called for defensive, whatever it was, unsportsmanlike conduct, where it stopped the clock. And then it gave Teddy enough time to get up there and do his usual 25 seconds of, checking the line. Had they actually had to go up there and spike the ball, I think they would have gotten that field goal because there was no way that call was being reviewed in that amount of time.
But a field goal wouldn't have changed this game.
No, it would not have. However, I think that play was very important in a look at how poorly Matt Rule and his staff deal with time management. A couple of drives before, the Panthers used all 3 timeouts on one drive. All right, you want to get to heroes and zeros?
Sure.
Zeros might take a while. I'll start off with heroes, and I'm just going to go ahead and give it to the punter because when can you ever give that to the punter? He had a great game. Charlton, 4 punts, 217 yards, an average of 54.3, pinned 2 of them, I believe, in the 5-yard line. Had a 67-yarder. And he messed up the fake punt, but he really shouldn't have been out there doing that anyway. So good job, Charlton. You are my hero of the game.
I like that one. I actually didn't think of the punter or Trenton Cannon, which both have gotten honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna give it to DJ Moore. He got off that mat after a couple bad performances. I kind of think they maybe should have kept going towards him in the third quarter. It seemed like, again, he disappeared. But
yeah. By the way, Teddy in the third quarter, in the second half, only threw the ball 7 times. Now, of course, he did get hurt, but PJ threw it 4 times, so that's only 11 passes in the entire second half.
They barely had the ball. I mean,
they just kept. Yeah, that's true.
So, but that's who my hero is, DJ Moore.
Yeah.
He looked good today. Wish he would have came down with that second quarter grab, and then he would have been over 100 yards today. But
yeah, good job by him. He was the most targeted receiver out there today at 7 targets. So they did make a concerted effort, it seems like, to get him the ball. Let's go with the zeros, and I'll let you kick this one off.
So many. Rasul Douglas, Troy Pride. I am going with Troy Pride. He looked bad out there, guys. I am sorry. If you're looking that bad, you don't need to be on the field. I'll put it that way. He got beat up. The whole secondary got beat up. He's not the only one, but
yeah,
going the worst out of the worst.
Agreed. I'm going with Matt Rule on this one.
Yeah.
I think the time management has been terrible. The getting off on third down has been terrible. He's got to take responsibility for that. He's the head coach. I know Phil Snow's the defensive coordinator, but he's the head coach. So I am giving Matt Rule his first, for me, 0 of the year. Excuse me, 0 of the year. And I'm a huge Matt Rule fan. I think he's going to be great for the Panthers long term. This was an ugly, ugly game by him. He got thoroughly outcoached. And we haven't said that a lot this year, but this was a bad one. I do want to give a little bit of kudos to Sam Franklin today. Had a pretty nice game, made a couple of really nice tackles, and I did throw him a little bit of shade last week, and he didn't deserve that. So good job, Sam Franklin. Look forward to seeing you for many years to come as a star on the Panthers defense.
We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. And we do have a mailbag waiting for next episode.
Yeah, and a fun one, fun little discussion point on that one. We will be back, as I mentioned earlier, on Thursday with our preview for the Panthers-Lions game. And until then, everyone stay safe out there. Keep your head up and keep pounding.